Hey everybody, Andre here, Director of Training at SeeWhy Learning. Now I just hopped into what I affectionately call my Jeep office. I was talking to a student and I wanted to give ourselves a little bit of privacy because this student was stressed and a little bit upset because they need to pass their exam or they're going to lose their job. So they asked me, Andre, how can I pass this exam? So I'm going to give you my top 4 exam preparation tips. Now, there's a reason why I picked the number 4. I've been a study coach for over 2 decades. And during that time, I've literally helped thousands of students pass their exam. And after analyzing student profiles, one thing is crystal clear. Passing or failing usually comes down to what the student did or didn't do in the 4 weeks leading up to their exam. Makes sense, right? I mean, if you really think about it, how much of a study session do you really think you're going to remember 6 months or 9 months or even 12 months down the road? So buckle down and get it done. All right, here's my top 4 exam preparation tips. Tip number 1, procrastination is your enemy. So schedule your exam today, even though you're not ready yet. That way you know with each passing day, your exam is getting closer and closer. And you're going to have to study or you're going to fail. That ought to hold you accountable. All right, tip number 2, commit to activities, not results. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but if you really think about it, results are not within your control. They're not always within your control. What happens if you go and write the exam and for some reason, the examining body rolls out a new and more difficult exam and a lot more people fail? Or on exam day, you just don't perform well. Maybe you got a migraine, right? Results are not always within your control, and subconsciously, you already know that, and you might have those excuses lined up in the back of your mind without even realizing it. But notice what happens when you commit to activities. Now, activities are within your control. So if you commit to studying an hour or 2 a night for the next 4 weeks, you either do it or you don't do it, and there's no room for excuses. And if you do the right activities, you're probably going to get a successful result. All right, tip number 3 is huge. It's actually my favorite tip. I apply this in many areas of my life when something is really important to me. Tell others what you're committing to. About a month ago, I posted a personal quote on my social media platforms, and it went something like this: nobody likes to fail publicly. Right? It's easier to fail in private. For some reason, we have no problem letting ourselves down or not keeping commitments to ourselves. But it's a lot harder to let other people down that you care about and respect. So maybe you tell your spouse or your children or your colleagues, or here's an idea, maybe your leader at work. Right? Because you know once you've done that, they're likely going to ask you in 2 or 3 weeks how it's going. And I don't think you're going to want to say you didn't do it or you gave up or you quit. And finally, tip number 4, sign up with SeeWhy Learning. Now, our exam preparation materials are easy to understand. They're effective. In fact, they're so effective, we offer an unprecedented guarantee. If you don't pass, you don't pay. And there's very few conditions associated with that guarantee. Now, I'm going to put a link to that guarantee in the comment section to this video. And I promise you, if you follow these 4 tips, you're going to set yourself up for success.